Hello, everyone. My name is Kimberly Rose. And over the last couple months, I've been taking people back to their conception, their first 9 months in the womb, and what happened at your birth. Was it an easy transition going through the womb? Did you get stuck? Did they have to force or maybe manipulate you out of there? So today we are diving into forceps births. Before we get into this, let me just share a couple things. Before I found breath work, my breathwork coach was like, "Do you know anything about your birth? I want to take you back to what happened." And I got really triggered. I was like, my birth has nothing to do with anything. I just need someone to vent to. I'm really angry. And she's like, "Then we're going to do this breathing technique." And I'm like, "Listen, listen, listen. I don't need to breathe and I don't need to go over my birth." So, fast forward later on that year after my first breathwork session, I got to study with around 600 people that year. I got to study and witness every single person's birth from their conception to when they came out of the womb and how it created these patterns, really deep rooted beliefs. And I got to see the transformation. It was so beautiful. It blew my mind. I was like, why don't they teach this in college? This is better than psychology. So, if you're really into astrology or human design, if you're really into unlocking your deepest rooted beliefs or patterns, hang out with us today. And I also have other births that we've gone over through my Instagram feed. So you can just scroll along through, and I've got a C-section birth video. I've got induced. Soon I'll be putting out cord around the neck, traumatic births, breech, twins, separation anxiety, all that good stuff. So just take a few deep breaths in while we do this process. And I hope you enjoy. Let's dive a little bit deeper into forcep births. Something that's really interesting that they taught us in breathwork school is way back in the day, doctors used forceps as an experiment. So birth can already be pretty scary and going through the birth canal and transitioning into this world. But then on the other end, you got the doctor with these metal tongs clamping your head and pulling you out. So if you wanted to, you could even Google forcep births and you can see how painful there might be. You might have a misshaped head. People who have forcep births, sometimes they have these claw marks depending on where they grabbed you at your birth. And I gotta say, it's a pretty traumatic way to come into this world. Pretty painful. I mean, that was one of your first experiences of touch and support coming out of the womb. So you might have deep feelings of being wrong. Maybe you got stuck and they had to pull you out. And there's a lot of confusion with forceps between the mind and the heart. Sometimes they battle back and forth and they don't know which one is which. So let's dive a little deeper into forceps. And some of these may resonate with you, some may not. And here is some possible programming for forcep births. Sometimes they have the thought, I can't make it on my own. People are out to get me. Support is painful. They have a deep anger at being controlled or manipulated. They need to be in control. They have a really deep fear of pain. Tendencies to migraines, sensitive head, tend to be in their head a lot. As I already shared before, you might have forcep marks on your head. And if you did have a forceps birth, go into the mirror right now and see if you have marks that show up on your head. Your body never forgets the trauma that it's been through, and your body will start to let you know if there's like a certain energy going on in the mind or in the head or not. Your body will let you know there will be an energy going on in your head while we're talking about this. So we find our breath and just send some deep breaths right into your head. Just send yourself some love and support. Just know you're safe. I'm not here to manipulate or hurt you in any way. This is just for love and support to get you through whatever it is that you deal with on a day-to-day basis. Something else about forceps is they have this really deep pattern of being pulled in many different directions. So that's something to notice. If you're being pulled all over the place, kind of like out of control, like you can't focus or get it together, that could also be a really big pattern that might be in your life. Whether it serves you or not, it's totally up to you. You have the power to change it. Sometimes forceps feel not good enough, unworthy, or that something's wrong with them. They feel that their heads and their hearts are separate, disconnected from their feelings. Again, some of those may resonate, some may not. I made these new guided heal your trauma breathwork sessions to help you get through the pain, get through the transition of getting stuck and maybe having to be pulled out or rescued. A lot of forceps that I know, they do their own thing, they own their own businesses, they don't want help or support from anyone. I do know some that are just so lazy that they have to be pulled or manipulated into doing something. So some of the possible programming, you may be the opposite of what I shared. I'm excited to share. I made this really powerful forceps heal your birth trauma breathwork download, and it's going to help you through your transitions. It's going to help you to get connected into your heart and know the difference. It's going to help with balancing everything out instead of attracting people pulling you out. Or maybe you might have a really deep manipulation pattern in your life where people try to force you or manipulate you in some way. So let me know how the session goes. You can go to the link in my bio, or you can go to breathewithkimberlyrose.com under birth series, and you can find forceps right there. All my love.